What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a great night. As you guys have heard, we are officially at war with Iran. This is not what any of us voted for, but what should we expect? It's a uniparty that doesn't give a fuck about us. Sorry for my language, I'm just pissed. They don't care about us. If you guys have seen the clear polls, it says 90% are against this war. It's the Fox News, the CNN, the MSNBC. Old boomers are the only ones who are supporting these wars, these regime changes. And Donald Trump ran on no more wars and no more regime changes. And this is exactly what he is doing, what every president does. Do the dirty work for Israel. The Zionist movement has taken full control of the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. I don't know how anyone can support war with Iran. If we recall, they keep saying these neocons, these establishment shills, they continue to say, oh, they're saying death to America. Again, I voted for Trump 3 times, but I'm going to tell you, if people were bombing, killing, and attacking my friends, my family, my loved ones, my city, and my environment for decades on end, in the 30 plus years I've been alive, I would hate America too. I would wish death upon them too. Wouldn't you? Serious question. If people were burning down, killing, torturing, and just raping your children and your youth in your cities and just tearing them apart, wouldn't you wish death upon them as well? That talking point from the shills just doesn't work anymore. And of course, the Israel First Zionists are in full support of this war. And we know why. Because they support Israel. They are paid puppets for the Zionist movement. And they know that the backing, the American people don't back this anymore. We are no war. We are sick of the never-ending wars, and we are sick of funding these never-ending wars. I still haven't heard one argument, like counter argument, that makes sense why we should attack Iran. And I will continue to wait. And I would love to debate these boomers that are for war, because that was exactly what the MAGA movement was. Putting the interests of Americans first, no overseas wars, no overseas spending. And this is exactly what Trump has been doing the whole time. The main focus has been Israel this whole first year. Who has visited the White House more than any world leader? Bibi, Satan Yahoo. Who has the key to the White House? Bibi, Satan Yahoo. Who is the one that all of these big media puppets push is our number one ally? The Israel government. I do think there is a world awakening happening right now when it comes to Israel, because as we know, Israel has record low support. And it's going to continue to have record low support. But what a pussy does Donald Trump look like in today's society? Fake alpha, fake talk, promise all this shit. And in reality and in the end, all we got was war with Iran for fucking Israel. I'm so sick of Israel. And yeah, Jonathan, I'm so sick of Trump and Israel at this point. Yeah, me too. And I hope, and I'm not a fan of Iran. I'm not a fan of Israel. I'm a fan of America because I live in America. But I hope Israel gets their shit kicked in because they deserve it. And I know Americans are for that. And we are sick of Israel and their hold over our government. So today we're going to react on what exactly it was that Trump ran on. And then we're going to see what he's saying today, looking like the little soy boy cuck that he is for Netanyahu. And I used to be the hugest Trump supporter, but let me tell you, I burned all my MAGA gear, and now I only wear America First gear. That's not Republican. That's not Democrat. I'm America First. I live in America. I am for my country first. When I woke up to this news today, I was livid. I was pissed off because this isn't what we voted for. But as we know, the Epstein files has been number one on the table lately, and they can't get away from it. And even with war with Iran, they're still not going to get away from it. We will not let the Epstein files go because those are the ones who are running the world. And if you're protecting pedophiles that are running the world, what's the point of war with Iran? I don't see them in the Epstein files. I don't see them running our country or torturing children. They may in their country, but we don't live in Iran. We live in America. So how about arrest the people that are running this country that we're currently in, that you run, where the pedophiles are taking advantage, raping, and eating kids for child sacrifice? I don't see how anyone with a logical brain can say, hey, yeah, it was smart to bomb Iran. It's just stupid at this point. The neocons have taken over, but what should we expect? Politicians always promise a bunch of stuff that they're going to do, and they deliver nothing. Hope you guys are having a great day. Please like, comment, hit that subscribe button. Let's see what Trump ran on. So this is what he ran on before he got reelected. Let's see what this bum said.
These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad.
We should have never gone into the Middle East. We should have never gone into the Middle East. Under my leadership, we will turn the page forever on those foolish, stupid days of never-ending wars.
We're rebuilding our military stronger than ever before, and we are not going to deplete it again on stupid, senseless, endless wars. World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists in the deep state. I am the president who delivers peace.
I was the first president in decades who didn't start a war. And the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in history is going to drag us into World War III. And this horrible, horrible president is dragging us toward World War III. We're going to be in World War III soon, because I think we would have been good with Iran. I don't want to do anything bad to Iran. Large sections of the Middle East. I mean, look at the death and destruction that's taken place. And none of this would have happened if I were president.
Our opponents join with warmongers and neocons to wage endless wars, these wars that never end. Together we're fighting to secure our borders, end the endless foreign wars, and defend the working people of America.
Yeah, and how did that go, Trump? How the oh, I'm trying not to cuss, guys. Got to keep it PG. But how did that go? Did he keep his campaign promises? Because I don't see it. And if you guys recall, didn't we just take out their nuclear facility or their nuclear capabilities about 6 months ago? What happened to that? So why again are we bombing them? Here's another video right after they supposedly bombed and took out their nuclear weapons program.
Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Tonight, I can report to the world.
So he was full of shit from the beginning. I think they honestly had no clue. I think they've just been lying to us since the beginning and trying to prolong it as much as possible. I also think that was a huge reason they took out Charlie Kirk, was because he had the voice. He had the ear of the president, and he had the youth. He had the youth vote, and people listened and actually cared and respected what Charlie Kirk said. And because Charlie Kirk was anti-war. Sorry if you guys see a little lag. We are dealing with internet problems. I hope you can hear me fine and still see the videos fine. But yeah, as we know, Charlie Kirk was against the war in Iran. And on top of that, he did his own poll months before his assassination, and it was 90% were against the war with Iran. 90. So not only is Trump turning on his base, he just gave the biggest middle finger to the whole United States of America today. But anyways, if you guys forgot what Charlie said, let's see what he was saying.
Let's do some updates about Israel and Iran and potentially the United States. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham. This is just lunacy. This kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his head.
Remember, guys, Lindsey Graham, he's single. He's probably never gotten laid in his life. never been married, never had kids. So it makes sense why he's pushing for every single war that's ever happened, because he makes money off it. We pass these big bills with a bunch of pork in it. It goes to these overseas countries. It gets funneled back into these campaigns these politicians run, and then it's just a circling cycle. War, money, dead Americans. They get money back into their pockets, and our taxes fund it. That's the best part of it all. Our taxes fund the genocide and wars. Disgusting. Lindsey Graham, he is a demon and deserves to be charged with treason. And you know what we used to do with people that were charged with treason? And I think we should bring that back now.
Henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East? What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens. What you think theoretically is going to occur, there might be unintended and unforeseen consequences, especially when you're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas. It has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power with well over a dozen ethnic groups. You have underground Christians. You don't really have many Jews left in Persia, but also you have secular younger Persians. Who's going to run the country exactly, Lindsey Graham? This sounds like Hillary Rodham Clinton in Libya. So I'm pointing to the first extreme right now, the neoconservative extreme. We must go take off the head of the snake right now. Play cut 285.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat. If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question.
What happened if we were to have a world war with like China and we're just handing out billions towards Israel? We're giving all of our ammunition, our military aid to Ukraine, Israel, all these other countries. What happens if we need it at home? We are trillions of dollars in debt. We are fighting other people's wars for them. Our streets look like shit. Everything's so expensive. We got pedophiles running the United States of America. And now we have Bibi Satan Yahoo running our government. I mean, if that's not treason, I don't know what is. I don't know what it's going to take. I really do think that us, the people, are going to have to eventually, I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, but I believe there should be some type of anarchy with us, the people. It's time. These people have screwed us over every single way they could and shown that they don't care with what 90% of America is feeling, because it's already been pulled. 90 to 92% of Americans do not want this war. And again, Trump gave us the middle finger. He doesn't care. Bibi Netanyahu is his boss. And the first time that they recently released the Epstein files, making people in his administration look bad because, you know, Howard Lutnick was on the Epstein files, they warned Trump, you do as we say, or we're going to release the rest of it. That was Israel that did that, not this administration. That was Israel. They gave him a warning and they said, look, we're your boss. If you don't do what we say, we're going to end you. And I think this war, this strike in Iran ended this administration. I am so done with the left and the right divide. It is time we, the people, unite against the corrupt pedophile elite that run this world.
The world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off? It's time to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen. Let's close that chapter soon and start a new chapter in the Mideast, one of tolerance, hope, and peace.
Okay, that sounds good, but that's pathologically insane. I'm sorry, it is. How do you know it's going to be better? Yeah, the Ayatollah is awful, but maybe he's one of the few guys that can keep that country together and not have a 90 million person civil war. Lindsey Graham is so consistently out of his mind, it's hard to even comprehend. Iran is hugely diverse. It is a massive country. Do the people agitating for war even know that? Because be clear, regime change is war. Just to understand, regime change is not like changing the head coach at the Chicago Bears. It's not how it works. It's not like a clean transfer. Typically in the Mideast, it's very messy, creates a quagmire, and then there is civil war. Do you understand how large Iran is?
And not to mention, usually when there is these regime changes, it always ends up being worse for the people that are in that country. They're more extreme. They are more dangerous because they see what America does. They just come in, they use the CIA, they do these regime changes, and they're like, oh yeah, the people do as you please, and then they're more extreme, and then it becomes more dangerous, and then the people have less rights. Regime changes never work, and that's why we need to stay out of all countries. I don't care if it's the Middle East, I don't care if it's Russia, Germany, I don't care. Let's stop the non-stop wars for Israel. Now, this was announced actually today. I believe the murders are up to 73. The screams of mothers can be heard at an all-girls elementary school in Iran. The U.S. and Israel attack murdered 40 young schoolgirls. This is real, by the way. Yeah. And I mean, I know that's a fast clip, but I would suggest anyone who has X to dig into that. I believe the last recorded was 73 children were murdered in an airstrike. So please, any boomers out there that might be watching, please elaborate how war with Iran and bombing a school is going to benefit us at all. I'll wait. It's not going to. That's the point. We are ran by neocons and the Israeli government. Even though I cannot stand Trump's voice at all anymore, even though I used to love when he would go in on people, especially in debates, we're going to listen to what he said. Adam, one of my favorite people on X, he said, this is what a blackmailed pedophile sounds like. Let's see Trump's reasoning for bombing schools with kids in it.
Is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending...
I want to speak about this because I spoke about this at the beginning. This is the talking point that the neocons, the warmongers always use. They chant death to America. Wouldn't you be saying the same thing if Americans were coming into your cities, towns, states, etc., villages, and just murdering your children, bombing your kids' schools, raping and killing these people? That's what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians. That's what we did to Iraq. Why do you think they say that? Because we've been killing them forever. They're sick of the wars, just like Americans are sick of the wars. I don't remember the last time I was this furious. And again, that doesn't mean I'm pro-Iran. That means I am anti-war, which is what this administration, again, ran on. Trump, you are a scumbag, Zionist sellout, and that's what you will always be remembered as. You disgusting, human, filth scumbag.
Campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the...
He's using 1983 as a reason to attack Iran. Okay, bro.
Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well.
Yeah, just like the weapons of mass destruction talking points they like to use, they will say they're doing all this stuff, and then they will never provide any proof of what they're saying is true. Just like with Venezuela, how they're bombing these boats. People are saying they were fishing boats. Well, they're saying they were drug traffickers. Then they proceeded to show zero proof of it. It's just Trust me, bro. Just like Dan Bongino and Cash Patel when it came to Epstein committing suicide. Trust me, bro. And then they proceeded to show us zero proof of it. Same situation here, folks.
Well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on.
I knew he was going to use that. We're done with October 7th. I'm sick of talking about that. I've talked about that on countless occasions. If you are sensitive when it comes to that subject, exit this video. I don't give a shit. October 7th was a setup from the Netanyahu government. There was an election that was taking place days later. Netanyahu government knew that the people don't F with him and that he was going to get voted out. That's why there was a stand down order for hours on end when the attack happened. Also, Charlie Kirk was questioning if they are the most well-protected country in the world, that is Israel with their Iron Dome. How did the attack happen? He didn't even believe that it could have happened without Netanyahu government knowing. Also, he said there was a stand down order. Why would there be a stand down order if your own people are getting assassinated? Because you let it happen, because you knew you were about to get voted out, because you know no one likes your Zionist neocon ass. That's the truth. Sorry if I hurt your feelings by it. I don't care. Those are the facts. So you cannot continue over a year later to say we're attacking them because of October 7th, yet overlook the couple years plus of all the genocide of the children, of the kids, and the innocent victims in Gaza. Not to mention, by the way, Trump just said the other day that he's going to use $10 billion of our hard-earned taxpayer funds to rebuild Gaza. How does that make you feel? We're going to be rebuilding a land where mass murdering was happening. That's Trump's idea, and he's going to use our taxes to fund it and pay for it. This dude's a joke. Can't believe I ever felt or voted for this clown.
Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried.
By the way, Trump never mentioned this because he's Israel's bitch, but Israel stole the technology and capabilities from Americans. I forgot the exact state, but you could look this up on X. It's very easy to find. Israel stole the equipment and technology from America to be able to have nuclear weapons themselves. So why is it that Israel can have nuclear weapons, but Iran can't? And also, you still haven't shown us any proof that Iran had nuclear weapons. And you told us also 6 months ago that you eliminated the nuclear weapon program. So why again are we fighting Israel? Oh yeah, we're fighting Israel's war. That's why. I was going to say, why are we fighting Iran? But it makes sense because you're Israel's bitch, Trump. Sorry for my language. I'm just really irritated about this whole scenario.
They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this
Where's the
regime
proof?
would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests.
That's laughable, talking about dictatorship when you're literally protecting pedophiles that run our country. Joke.
They're going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication.
I've been seeing all day, actually, military members that are saying that they don't agree with these steps or with the steps that were taken and that they don't want war and that this isn't a war that we signed up for. And I agree. And I know the repercussions if you deny orders, but I mean, we didn't sign up for this. We didn't vote for this. Trump ran on no regime changes anymore, no more wars, and he's doing exactly the opposite. I mean, at least with Biden, we could say he was incompetent and had like dementia and didn't know what was going on. So that made sense. Now with Trump, you can't use that excuse. It's even worse. It makes him look more like a pussy in my eyes than Biden. Like, this is just embarrassing, dude. And people are saying, this is the funny part. They're saying that we had ICE in these liberal cities to take out all the sleeper cells. And now that all of the sleeper cells are out of the cities, that's why he bombed them. So now there's going to be zero attacks. Bruh, Trump has done a full 360 in regards to the deportations. That is far from the truth. Now he's put American lives in danger more than ever with this strike, because guaranteed there are millions of sleeper cells that have not been found. And it's just, you're taking a gamble with Americans' lives and our soldiers' lives, and they don't deserve that. They deserve more. They deserve better than this leader. This dude's a joke.
My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or in the alternative, face certain death. So lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
So he's saying, hide inside. There's gonna be bombs everywhere. Once we're done bombing and blowing up your cities and killing your children and blowing up these schools, then you go and take over your cities and your government. Does this guy not hear what he is saying or thinking? This has got to be the biggest disappointment since I've been alive and been into politics. And I mean, we can see the clear hypocrisy. I could show you guys all day the clear hypocrisy from Trump and the neocons. Look, this was Trump in 2012. Don't let Obama play the Iran card in order to start a war in order to get reelected. Be careful, Republicans. 2013, remember that I predicted a long time ago that President Obama will attack Iran because of inability to negotiate properly, not skilled. In order to get elected, Barack Obama will start a war with Iran. Remember what this is such a joke. The clear hypocrisy is overwhelming at this point. And you know, it's funny because the same people that have been cheering on the genocide in Gaza this whole entire time are the same exact people cheering on the destruction of Iran. Mark Levin, neocon pig himself.
There's a point at which you need to defend our country, defend our allies. And when you see a regime slaughtering tens of thousands of young people, shooting them in the street, if you have any conscience whatsoever, any morality whatsoever, and you're able to do something about it because they're in the weakest position they've ever been, right, to sit still there at a time like that is utterly and completely unconscionable. We are on a righteous mission. We have a righteous president. We have a real leader. This is what a real leader looks like. There's a point at which...
This is the same jackass that was just calling out Trump because a couple weeks back before, you know, Israel released the first phase of the Epstein files of this administration, he was saying, you better bomb them. They're killing all these thousands of people. But you know what I think? I think they were killing the Israeli people that were pretending to be Iranians in their country, because as we know, our CIA and the Mossad love to send out people to these countries to stir it up. Just like BLM, even though we know George Soros was involved, our own CIA and the Mossad like to install their little puppet people in there to stir up the pot. That's what they were doing in Iran and Argentina as well. Remember the fires that were just happening in Argentina a couple months ago? They were literally filming these Israeli soldiers who were traveling there and starting fires, and they just dip. They stir up the pot and then they dip. But with Iran, I think they were actually taking out some of these people. That's just my opinion. Curious what you guys think. But I know this isn't what we voted for. We were promised peace, and we have gotten nothing but peace, or zero peace, since this administration has been in the White House. My favorite right now is Candace Owens. There are a lot of things I disagree with her on, but when it comes to Israel, I 100% agree with what she says. Remember when they tried to gaslight us last June by calling us panicans, claiming we were lying about serial killer Bibi Netanyahu aims? The only reason this war didn't begin last June was because of Charlie Kirk. They eliminated that reason on September 10th. Bam! What's wrong about that? I'll wait. Anyways, let's continue. Ryan Maddow, one of my favorite influencers, is speaking about this. Let's see what he has to say.
Because imagine being our troops in Afghanistan and Iraq. Like, they had the full backing of the American people. We were rah, put a boot in his ass. USA, we're the biggest, we're the baddest, we're the strongest, and we're going to fucking beat our chest. And you came for us, we will make you pay. And we will let hellfire and brimstone rain down on those poor, innocent people. Our soldiers went in there and they were raping and torturing. And then imagine the people that they tortured at Guantanamo Bay. Imagine being one of those detainees, those officers, those military guards, working at Guantanamo and torturing people who you thought you were trying to extract information about how they blew up our World Trade Center and the things you did to those people. And then you realize it was all a lie. Those people didn't have any information because there was no information There was no story. There was no lead. And you were there torturing those innocent people. Now you have our sons and daughters over in Israel getting ready to die on behalf of this corrupt, rotted to the core Epstein government.
Yep.
We're talking about pedophiles in our highest ranks within our military, within our government, within the corporations, within the media outlets. And they're all compromised. And they're all championing this fucking war. And none of us wanted it. This is literally the definition of treason. So where I'm going with this is imagine being one of our troops on those ships. At least our troops that went over to Afghanistan and Iraq, they were watching, shit on their phones. They were on the internet. They were doing their...
Yeah, the difference is during the Iraq war, obviously in 9/11, all that, we didn't have social network like we have these days. That is the one good thing I will say about social network is we can live stream everything that's happening 24/7 and debunk the lies 24/7. So good luck pushing those same talking points that you pushed in that during the Iraq war.
Thing, we still had their back. We still thought, hey, we want to bring you guys home, but you got to do what you got to do, get the job done. Don't let any of them kill you. We still thought we were the baddest ass motherfuckers on the planet. Now, imagine the morale on a ship filled with Americans who know they're being sent off as cannon fodder for God's chosen people. Is Israel my ass? This is Judaism. This is Jewish supremacy. This is what we've allowed to happen because of their fucking hate speech and anti-Semitism bullshit laws that they're trying to pass so they can take away our ability to speak and tell this truth so they can carry out their greater genocide project. That's what they should just call it. We should stop calling it the Greater Israel Project. It's the Greater Genocide Project. It's never ending war.
Yep.
It's America is 240 years old, and there's only been 16 years out of our existence that we haven't been in a fucking war. When does this shit fucking end?
Never.
At what point do we say enough's enough? I say it's right here, right now. There is nothing honorable about dying for this fucking government, for this fucking leader. What did he do to us? We were out there voting. We were out there campaigning. We were out there door knocking. We were out there fucking doing everything, fundraising, all of it for that man. And we wanted accountability. We wanted transparency. We wanted no fucking wars. We wanted mass deportation. And we wanted to secure fucking borders. Is that too much to ask? We wanted some gosh damn corrupt politicians' asses fucking arrested. They've robbed us. They've raped us. They've pillaged us. They've looted our treasury. They've sexually assaulted many victims. They have a fucking slush fund for how many people they've sexually assaulted. Let it go. It's done.
I mean, where is he wrong? Yeah, everything this administration has promised, I would say besides the border, they have lied about. They have not kept any of their campaign promises. And I don't think anything's going to change. And that's why we, the people, need to unite. I mean, I've seen this all day. Here's another person.
Tens of thousands of U.S. troops dying? Then you're kidding yourself. This is the same crap that was sold to me and to this country when I was 20 years ago and fought in Iraq. When I was 20 years old and fought in Iraq, the same crap. Oh, this is just going to be quick and easy. This is going to be over in a couple of weeks. We're going to be great. Let me tell you something. It's garbage. And this is not what a war in Iran is going to look like. It is going to look like the catastrophic loss of tens of thousands of American soldiers in the...
That's another thing I want to point out. War with Iran is going to be a lot different than, let's say, Venezuela or let's say Iraq. A lot bigger, a lot more capabilities. They have help from China, and it looks like Russia backing them. We're screwed. Nuclear war isn't nothing to mess with. And unfortunately, this administration is owned by Israel, and they're going to do whatever Israel tells them to do because they're their boss.
Long run. If you think that we're going to be in and out in Iraq, you're kidding yourselves. But the bloodthirsty warmongers that want nothing but war and death, that seem to have a lot of pull in this administration, want this war. The American people don't want it. I served in a war theater. I know what that is. I don't want this country to go back there. I don't want to see tens of thousands of young men and women lost to another war. These people in DC, their sons and daughters are not going to be fighting this war. The sons and daughters of the foreign government that want this war so bad, they're not going to be fighting and dying in this war. You know who's going to be on the hook for this? Americans, yet again. It is going to be our sons.
Sorry about the buffering. We're getting a new internet, and I apologize. It hasn't been the best, but you guys get what I'm trying to get at. We are anti-war all the way. That is what we promised when we voted for Donald Trump. Peace through strength, no wars, no regime changes, helping Americans and putting the interests of Americans first. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you on the next video. Have a blessed night. Peace.